Hello everyone, it's Chris here, and this is a special episode. Once a year, once a year we make an episode where we look back on the year and we look a bit ahead, and we generally tell you what's happening behind the scenes at Legacy. Let me first say to all of you, thank you very much for watching here and all the videos you've watched before, all the episodes. Thank you for that. Without you, there is no Legacy. And also, of course, without the guys and women who come and tell their stories, there's absolutely no Legacy. It is that simple. And I'm still sitting here in a hotel room in Phuket. The wind is howling outside. It's very weird because it's a warm wind. It's like the bergwinde in West London. It's strange. And I expect there's going to be a huge thunderstorm later. And the aircon is running in the background as well. It's a working hotel. Not ours. It's the one we're living in just until we have sorted our own place out. We'll talk about that a bit later. So there might be a bit of noise and distractions in the background. Please forgive me. It's just the way it is. I have no studio anymore to work in any other way. And sadly, Phuket is a party town, man. There's always some drunk shouting or, music blaring out. Or, not sure you can call it music, actually. That's what I would call it. Drum beats of note, all the way from voodoo and from Satan, if you ask me. But anyway, we have to live with it. We have to live with a howling wind. So let me tell you, what is this episode about? It is, well, it is Welcome to Legacy, background scenes. And I'm not going to tell it to you alone. Fossey, our other presenter, is also going to put something in here, as well as the rest of the people involved, Rebecca, others. That will be at the end. That will be after I said what I had to say. I think the best way to start this is to look at the statistics. There's a story which says that figures don't lie. It's not quite true. But I'll give you the statistics here, and I will make a statement and say to you that story that people are not interested in the veterans in South Africa, or at least what they did, is totally not true. The statistics here at Legacy shows us that people are really interested in what happened to you. And there's like always an open invitation to everybody and anybody who wants to come and talk to us to please come and talk to us. You just need to contact me. The chances of me telling you you're not welcome is very, very limited. In fact, there was only one guy we had to say we don't think it's a good idea because he was involved in espionage. And he still lives in the country against whom he worked. And I said to him, I'm afraid, these people will definitely come after you. I know that intelligence services are watching us. And I also know that we're being suppressed. We simply cannot have the kind of views we have with subscribers. So I have to ask you, please, if it's possible for you to subscribe. Subscribe. It's important to subscribe. It helps us with search engines. These things are written to do us in. So the more of you subscribe, the better. We have 2 backup channels as well on Odyssey as well as on Rumble with exactly the same videos, but there's almost no one there. But that's fine. For me, they are backups, and we'll carry on with YouTube. But should we ever be booted off YouTube, then we have 2 other channels with exactly the same episodes, and we'll just carry on there. If you look at any of the Legacy episodes, you will find those links. And as I always say to you, please get yourself onto the Telegram, Legacy Telegram, because that's where we post all the news, as well as the new episodes as they're coming out, which is a bit of a problem for me here in Phuket, because it comes out, these videos comes out at 6 o'clock in the morning in South Africa, which is a good time, I think. But that means it's 11 o'clock in the morning here, and I'm normally then busy with something. And sometimes I forget, and I'm a bit late to post it on the Telegram channel, but We do get to it. We do get to it. So let's look at the statistics. Well, I'm talking now about overall figures, right? There were more than 300,000 hours of videos being watched. There were more than 1.14 million views. That's 1,140,000 views. More than that, because it's growing all the time. Which translates to, in the last 6 months, we had between 20 and 30,000 hours every month. People are watching. That is about 4 to 5 years of videos are being watched every month on Legacy. And the people watching is between 70 and 100,000. Sometimes it's a bit more, but it's rarely ever less than 70,000. That's really a lot of views, and I'm really grateful to you. Once again, let me say that when we started this, I didn't expect more than 50 people to actually look at it, or at least not more than 50 people to subscribe. We are now at over 5,500 subscribers. But as I say, there's something wrong with these statistics. It should be a lot more. It should be closer to 15,000. So I do believe that in the background something is happening, but it doesn't matter. We'll carry on. Right, I'm often asked which of the episodes did the best in terms of views. Now, let me say to you, I'm not that impressed with views, because a guy can look at it for 5 seconds and then he moves on, and that is one view. I'm more impressed with the hours watched. That shows to me that there's quality, that people are interested in watching it through. And the one which is standing on the top, and I don't think it's going to be broken ever, is the Career Broers of 3-2 Battalion. They have more than 60,000 views. They're just one episode of them. They are, of course, fantastic people, and it was a very good episode. If you haven't seen any of these episodes, please just have a look. 3-2 Battalion's got its own playlist. So does Special Forces, so does 3-1 Battalion now. It's a rule, yeah, there's more than 15 videos, or it's closer to 15 videos for one unit, and we create a playlist for them. But all of them would also be on the SADF playlist. So Career Broers, they are heading number one, most views. Then the second one, I was a bit surprised when I found that out, was in the beginning of the year, we got Doustein, Jack Greef, and Frans Fourie together. And these Special Forces legends started answering questions which you guys have sent in for us. One guy got himself banned because of it. I'll get to that later. Not the Special Forces people, one viewer, but he was a bit of a strange person anyway. But they number two. And then we have Saki Maree, one parachute battalion. The one and only RSM Saki Maree. Of course, he became a colonel and a commander later. And then came Peter Lipman, 3-2 Battalion's first white troop. Peter Lipman just went haywire. People just loved that episode. After him came Savati, the Battle of Savati, again, 3-2 Battalion. In fact, out of the top 10 positions, 5 of them are held by 3-2 Battalion members, 6 if you include Frans Fourie on Special Forces answers, which just shows you. 3-2 Battalion, they're just hammering it. But anyway, that one is on after Peter Lipman. And then came the lone SAF man, Steve Scott, the Bosbok pilot. 16,000 views, did tremendously well. And there's another one of him coming out, I believe, on the 1st of January. Now, that is fascinating, because he was flying a bunch of, two American Air Force general officers. Both of them were pilots. He was flying them around with a diplomat in the 80s. And guess what? They told him exactly what's going to happen to the future of Namibia, of Southwest Africa, with Resolution 435. So he's telling that story, which I don't think has ever been recorded anywhere in history books. After Steve Scott is Rick Lobb, 3-2 Battalion, Ricky Wing. He was also involved in Savati. Wonderful fellow, Rick Lobb. He just told his story straightforward, and I'm not surprised actually that he's there. And then the one and only Frans Fourie. Now, Frans Fourie, France for you is something else. France for you, first episode really did well. But as it is with Legacy, when there's more than one episode, people seem to watch only the first one at a tremendous amount of views, and the rest, it just goes down. But I think if you put all France's episodes together, you will actually be beating the Creer Broers, or they might be very close to each other. But France for you is there, as he should be. And then very interesting, Ops Firewood. And it was the first Ops Firewood which we made, the recce perspective, to recce perspective. And I'll talk about that one a bit later. And let's look at what was the most watched series. Frans Fourie, then McGill Alexander, the paratrooper, and my friend S.V. Fourie. The three of them was the most watched series we had. I must tell you though that we have to keep in mind that when S.V. Fourie came out, and Frans Fourie just after him, this was right in the beginning. So we had a lot less viewers then. And so it was harder for them to attain the status. They did very well. And of all of them, I consider McGill Alexander to be the most fluent. It was just fantastic. He would arrive there and the general would be ready and he would start talking and he just spoke. He's a well-spoken man. I mean, he's a highly educated man as well. I enjoyed McGill Alexander, but we'll come back to him too because there's a few people we had to ban because of that. Now, the best video moment in the last year in 2022. Now, this is subjective. It is for me. It is personally what I consider to be the best moment. And you people are welcome to disagree with me. I will put the clips in here as well. There were two of them, which were to me outstanding, which to me was the clip of the year. The first one was at Firewood, a two-recce perspective on Firewood, where Greg Ashton, the one-recce operator, then a two-recce, looks at his friend Darryl O'Kelly, and he says something like, "Thank you for saving my life." Because Darryl, this didn't come out in the video, but Darryl at that stage were pulling these guys back while they were lying wounded, while he was shooting with an LMG. And he really saved them. He just pulled them out, he kept shooting, and he brought them back into safety. It was a fantastic deed. He should have been awarded the medal, but he never was. You know, as for Army, sometimes you get something and sometimes you don't. And what made this so special to me is I expected Darryl to say something, you know, like, yeah, okay, whatever. But he didn't. He just looked at him and he said, "I will do it again." And you know what? Then I really understand what is comradeship, what is brotherly love, what is this is being shared between soldiers in combat. You know, that is just fantastic, a fantastic moment. And yes, I will play the clip for you here. So if I'm slightly different from what they have said, I'm talking out of memory here to you.
And I just want to take this opportunity just to say thank you for pulling me out of the crap. Because, you know, I must be, you know, disciplined soldier that I was and a bit of shell shocked at that stage. So, Darryl, thank you. You saved me that day.
Pleasure. Anytime. Anytime. I'll do it again.
And then the second one to me, which was outstanding, I heard it and I thought to myself, wow, this is something else, was at Iheki, where we spoke to the Special Forces members who were at the Battle of Iheki. And the commander, Major Henny Blau, who of course later became a colonel. Major Blau landed, I believe, at Mupacha, and he walked to the general who ordered the attack to go in. And he saluted him and he said to him, "Sir, I am back. I returned with all my men, dead and alive." And you know, even as I sit here, I have like hoendervleis now. I've got like, it was just one of those fantastic moments which we caught on camera here for history. And wat was die boodskap wat generaal Griesen vir u gegee het om oor te dra aan die operateurs, die oorlewendes?
Dit was goed. Ons het toe uitgevlieg Eenhana toe. Choppers het geland en die 237's, die 267's wat ons mee ingespring het, staan toe daar. En om al die nuuskieriges weg te kry, het die spesmagte ouens onmiddellik uit die choppers uitgeklim en in die see en daar as ingestap. Toe kom daar 'n offisier aan daar by my en sê vir my, die generaal is in die opskamer. Hy wag vir my in die opskamer. Toe is ek nou glad nie vreeslik lus om nou daar vir almal te vertel en 'n nabetragting te doen oor hoe hierdie operasie verloop het nie. Hulle het dit gevolg op radio. Hulle weet presies wat was al die probleme, tekortkominge en veral op bevel en beheer vlak. En toe ek daar instap, hoe ek nou lyk, met Black is Beautiful aan en vuil en dit, en toe sit die manne daar, toe kyk hulle nou vir my so, asof ek nou uit 'n ander planeet af. Toe sê ek dit vir hom, General, I report to you that all my men, dead and alive, have been extracted out of the contact area. We are going home now. Toe draai ek om, toe staan die generaal op, toe stap hy saam met my uit. En toe stap ons in die rigting van die C-60 vliegtuie. En so, eentjie van die vliegtuie af, toe stop hy. Toe sê hy vir my, Annie, I must tell you, you did a wonderful job. I'll say sincere thanks for what you have done. We are very, very sorry about the casualties. Please convey my message of gratitude to your men, but I don't have the heart now to face them. Sê ek, okay, General, no problem. Sal die Here kom en draai die generaal om, toe stap hy terug. En toe klim ek in die vliegtuig en toe vlieg ons my pad.
History. And it was really an honor for me to listen to these people, as it is to all of you. So that is for me personally the two highlights for me, which was the best video moment. I'm sure you people also have other moments, and I'm sure the presenters will also have other moments. Then I'm often asked, what is the most touching video I ever had? Where I walked away stunned. Now, Rebecca will tell you if you ever meet her, and I hope you will meet her, because we are in South Africa, God willing, from around the middle of January till end of February. For me, probably a bit less for her, and we'll be all over the country, and she will be around. If you want to meet with her or with me, just get hold of me. We will do our best to see you. We're going to record a lot of people, including the Bushmans, including the 3-2 Battalion Black members, lots of other people. We even have a special on Aratel, which we're trying to do with Jan Malan. We have profs from the military academy. Really a lot of things, people we want to go and record. And Rebecca will say to you, and I'm sure she's going to start laughing, because she will say to you that I always say, whenever I'm done with an interview or a conversation, I say, wow, man, this was the best one ever. Because it's such a privilege to listen to you people, you know. You sit there and many of these people say to me, Chris, I've never told anybody this before. Oh man, it's the first time in 40 years that I speak about these things. And then sometimes the tears flow, you know, we cut that out, but even if we're Norris Crooks members, sometimes we sit there and we remember, you know, it is very emotional, and it should be. It should be. I mean, after all, you're not a damn robot or some, you know, person without feelings. You're just a normal human being who've done tremendously wonderful things in his life. And nobody said thank you. And that's what it's about here. We are all grateful to you. But for me, the most touching video, the one which I walked away absolutely stunned for days, must have been Eheke. The 2 Eheke episodes for me was so good. And I can tell you, we spent hours on it. We had test runs. We had the script actually written for us by Special Forces members. They took it extremely seriously. And we can see from the comments, we can see exactly from the comments how popular and how great that those 2 episodes were. Good news, we're going to do another one on Ops Ginger as well as Ops Amazon. They run together. Ginger was the reconnaissance part where Jack Greef and mates actually scouted out, which will later be sabotaged for all the refineries, I believe, at Lobito, at Amazon. And that is where our friend S.V. Fourie celebrated, I believe, his 21st birthday. As he says in his book, Sierra Whiskey, 10 years in South African Special Forces. It's still available, by the way. We wrote that book. It's a damn good book to read. He says he turned back and he looked back and it exploded, and it was like the biggest, massive firework display you could ever imagine, and he realized it was his 21st birthday. Just imagine that, 21 years old, and you have that in your record. The funniest, people ask me often, what's the funniest? Well, there were several of them which I found very funny, you know. Sometimes you people don't always see it, but the guy's doing the interview with me, or the conversation. It's not an interview, it's a conversation. They see me in the background and I might be sitting there saying, yeah, go, or I start laughing at the background, and if Fosse is involved, I normally pull a face or something just to put him a bit off track. It worked in the beginning, it doesn't work anymore. He just ignores me now. But for me, the funniest moments, and these are not in order, this is just funny moments, was Daniel Botwood, where he was described that he was on his way to the army, and he said he's a bit of a dagga roker, and then he cut his hair in a mohawk style. He was walking down the street, and the police grabbed him, and they said to him, "You're gonna die there at one side." And I found that very, very funny. When we had the Bridge 14 gunner, Ferdi van Niekerk, man had a fantastic way of speaking. He said something like, he's never even heard such language. He didn't know such things existed when he arrived for basics. And I can understand that. You know, I recall when I put my feet down on the tarmac, the parade ground at the police college. The first thing the sergeant roared at me. He wasn't talking, he was roaring like a sergeant major. En hy sê to me, "Jou fucking aardige kondoonkop, wat soek jy hier?" En baie ander dinge ook. And I didn't even know what he was talking about, but I can tell you I was running. And I never stopped running for the next 6 months. But anyway, that was funny to me. And then Dennis Coyne, he was also involved in a Ratel 61 Meg, also one side, I believe. He told the story of this one guy who was with him, that they got attacked by the bats or by somebody attacked them. And he said something like, "This guy's a scully, you know." He started attacking them with a knife by defending himself. And I really enjoyed that, Dennis, as I enjoyed your entire episodes. Frans Fourie, magnificent man, Frans Fourie. And he tells the story where he was hanging upside down on a fence, an electric fence, where they were crossing the border, probably into Mozambique, had to do with an attack in Maputo, Operation Beanbag. And he was hanging upside down there. And because he was so heavily loaded, he just couldn't pull himself up to get over the fence. And one of the Special Forces legends, Queros, started taking the mickey out of him, something like, "Yeah, Captain, I remember all the shit you gave me. I'll let you hang there for a while." And of course, he can't let him hang there forever. First thing, the terrorists can get him. And secondly, you know, those days Eskom actually worked. They switched that power on. It would have been the late Frans Fourie. But anyway, that to me was really, really good. And then lastly, which I always chuckle about, is our friend S.V. Fourie, Skalk Fourie, where he tells about his time at Small Tactics, you know, the last phase of Kering of selection. And he got shot. He got shot through the leg, and quite high in the leg. Not serious. I mean, he was running again about 2-3 days later, but he said to me, the first thing which went through his head was he doesn't want to die a virgin. And I understand that too. Really, I understand that, and I'm sure you do. So I hope you enjoyed that. There were many, many of us. As I say again, this is only my idea, you know, it is subjective. So if I left someone out, please forgive me. This is just what I experienced. And now I want to make a tribute. I want to say thank you for all of you here who is helping us to cement our legacy. You know, the history books are not going to do it. History is written by the voice of the victors, or those anyway who think they won. And I say this who think they won because of what Jan Malan said on why the SADF won the war. And you will see soon there's going to be a 3-1 battalion member on. And his name is Chaka Erasmus. And Chaka is going to tell you that we didn't lose the political side either. And he's speaking as an attorney. Now, what he says makes a lot of sense. I think it will shock you. So when that video comes out in about 2 weeks from now, please have a look at it. Make a note of this. Chaka Erasmus, 3-1 battalion. He's going to say to you, you've not lost the political war. And I'm not going to steal his thunder here and telling you why he says it, but I can tell you also as a legal man, what he says makes a lot of sense. So I want to give a tribute to you, all of you who came and give us your time, give us your stories, all of that. And also, of course, the loyal watchers. Without you, again, there is no legacy. This is not about me. It's not about Fosse. It's not about Kevin. It's not about Rebecca. It is not about our friend Duval who helps us with the Facebook page, because I hate Facebook. I will never be on Facebook myself. I feel it's contaminated. You don't touch it, but it's important. This is not about us. This is about the proud nation's military legacy, which needs to be told. And I think that's what we're doing at Legacy Conversations. And there are a few people, there's a few people I need to just highlight quickly. There are many more. If I left you out, please don't be angry with me. I'm doing this out of my head. I'm probably leaving people out. It's not on purpose. There's nothing bad about it. These are just the people I remember and I want to say a few words about. The first one is Mark Hume, the late Mark Hume. 6-1 Mech. He was a rattle driver. He was a wonderful man. When I was in South Africa in May, I met him in Port Elizabeth on the third generation parade. It was a good video which came out. Mark was all over the place. He did everything he could to assist me. And because of him, we started something called Legacy Get-Togethers, where we asked you to make your own videos. If you get together, make a video. We'll put it together. We'll broadcast it. We will bring people into the fold. Because the last thing, that's what all the psychologists tell me, the last thing you want is to sit alone in your ass in your bedroom or wherever you're watching. You're angry with the world. That's where Satan is going to get you. That is where bad things happen. So don't do that. Come out, go to the mosques, go to your comrades, go to your associations, get together and stop fighting with each other. War is over, guys. Stop fighting. That's the other thing I've seen is there's a lot of infighting amongst us. You know, that's how they destroy you. That is how you destroy a good thing. You start fighting with each other about nonsense. You have to learn to live and let go. And you have to accept each other. But anyway, Mark Hume started the Legacy Get-Togethers. Let us think of Mark for a minute. He was a wonderful man. And we also had a follow-up episode. We raised some money for his funeral. And I miss Mark. Even though I knew him only for a few hours, he was just a fantastic fellow. Then the other one who stands out, two of them actually, is Robert Earl, Bobby Earl, and Nellis, you know, the Neil Ellis, the chopper pilot. Robert Earl, his story you probably have seen. He's the one who was a flight engineer on the Allows. They were flying them up. The Allow crashed. It crashed because of Danelle or somebody. Those days, don't really know what their names are today. But they fixed the tail rotor in such a way that it broke. It broke off. And then the Air Force suppressed Suppressed what they found out for 20 years until Robert couldn't sue him. How pathetic is that? I have to say. It's more than pathetic, but that's what happened. But besides that, Robert Earl was the first guy I actually recorded live. He's the first guy I went to his house in Krugersdorp, and I will never forget. He stood up, and he doesn't really have legs, but he stood up. He was leaning on a cane. He looked me in the eye and he said, "Chris, welcome to my humble house. I'm so glad to have you here." And I recall saying to Rebecca afterwards, I said, "Oh, I was almost in tears. I felt so humbled by this man." And then, of course, Neil Ellis, the chopper jock. Who doesn't know about Neil Ellis? One of the greatest, if not the greatest, chopper pilot ever. And the two of them ganged up and they assisted a woman. They assisted a woman in need. Robert pulled an aircraft, light aircraft. We made an entire series of it. A lot of you people donated. Someone in Canada donated a lot of money. My friend Andre Olivier, his companies donated a lot of money. Some of you came out and tried your best in the background to assist this woman. I can't give more details than that. For finding us something to do. And you know what? I felt good. I felt good that Legacy were assisting in this. And if there's ever an opportunity to do that again, as we did for HP Ferreira, of 61 meg, I definitely will do it again. So I'm asking you here, if you have deserving cases where you need some publicity, let's talk. Let's see if we can help you. Then the other ones who were outstanding because we're always in the background assisting in some ways. Laurens Basson, the test flight engineer, now in a different country. Just a wonderful chap, he's always this calm guy. He always gives advice from the back. SVF Fourie, who's opened doors to special forces for us. Frans Fourie, Frans Fourie is always a word of wisdom. If Frans Fourie starts talking, you listen. Because the man doesn't have time to talk nonsense. So I always listen very closely when Frans calls. Peter Williams, 3-2 Battalion legend. We're going to record him as well, Recce Wing. Peter is doing a lot in the background for Legacy as well as for the veterans. You people won't know because he doesn't want people to know, but I'm really looking forward in recording him as well, somewhere end of January. Kevin Johnson, the 3-2 Battalion company sergeant, a wonderful fellow. I can tell you that Kevin has done more for Legacy than most people. And it's a pity to me that people has not really supported his entrepreneurship series. But you know what? We've put it out there and it's there for you to watch. It's there for you to educate yourself. If you want to do it, then do it. But I will not mention Kevin Johnson here. Kevin Johnson is an integral part of Legacy. He's a man with business ideas. Every now and then he calls and we just discuss things. Andre Olivier, Colonel Andre Olivier, my friend, who's now a Legacy chaplain. You people will not believe how many people have called him and how many people he has helped as a chaplain. Because of his legacy prayers, which he's doing here for us, his own interviews as a Railway Police Special Task Force Commander. Just a fantastic man. You can trust Andre Olivier. Let me tell you, if you ever met a man, I understand they called him Jock in the Railway Police. If you ever met a man who is straightforward, with no grey areas, who's highly respected and not scared to say what he thinks is right, that's Andre Olivier. So if you have a problem which a chaplain can help you with, please feel free to get hold of Andre. Then our friend Fossie Foster, the 16th Squadron LO flight engineer, boord technicus. Apparently the SAF didn't have something like a vlugingenieur that doesn't exist. So boord technicus. He said that to me about 4 times before I actually clicked what he was saying. since he came on board, my life has been easier, and I wish to thank Fossey for that. It was a bit of a story to get him to record people. At first, he only wanted to help with editing. But I quickly realized that if you have a man like that who's technical and who understands the SAF and the army, up to a point, I suppose, more than me anyway, then we should use him. And so Fossey now is totally part of the team. He's got his new laptop, or I hope by the time we broadcast this, he'll have his new laptop. We will talk about the laptops and things as well. You know, when you do videos editing, you can't do that on a normal laptop. You really need quick laptops or quick computers. Otherwise, it's not a pleasure. So I'm really glad that we could help Fossey, that we got him I think, a very good laptop now. He should be good for next year or two. And he also have ideas about music, but I will come to that. All I wish to say is, Fossey, you're welcome here. I'm really grateful you are here. And he's made some fantastic episodes with people. And there were no negative feedback on him, and I don't expect any. But once again, I said this in other videos, and I will repeat it probably later. We do need help. If you are sitting here and you think to yourself you can be a legacy presenter, and you can subscribe to our Christian views and values, and you can contribute and you can edit a bit, talk to me. Talk to me. Because between Fossey and myself, we are recording as many people as we can. But I can tell you, we're recording an entire Defence Force memories here. And 2 men can't do it. It's just not possible. I really need help. I need more presenters. I need you people to actually record yourself so that we can do this job properly. And then lastly, but not least, Rebecca, my wife. You know, without Rebecca's financial support here, there's no way that legacy will exist. It's Rebecca who gave me the computers, the internet, who fed me, who said to me, don't worry about getting a job, don't worry about bringing in money, just do this dream of yours, record these people, I know you're doing God's work. Without her, there will be no legacy. It is as simple as that. We have other plans as well, Rebecca and myself, with African Legacy Headquarters. I'll speak about that a bit later, but I just want to say to all of these people, including my wife, Rebecca, thank you so much. And thank you for all of you who jumped up, who put your hands up and who came and helped. We are really grateful for you. So, right, let's talk a little bit behind the scenes. There is a video out which we made this year, in the beginning of this year. Probably last year, December, around about there, I recall we were making a video, which will give you a bit more information, so I'm going to be very brief about this. In the first place, how is a video made? Man, that's a lot of work. It is many hours of work. Every hour you see on Legacy is about 4 hours in the background. You know, we have to set up a meeting, and we normally set up a meeting with people who come to us. I read the comments, and if I find the comment interesting and I can see this guy has a story, I will normally say to him, please contact me, I want to talk to you. And many times they do, and we take it further. Also, what happens is somebody who's on the show already will tell a mate of his, listen, you need to go and speak to Chris and mates. And then we set it up. And sometimes we just spread the word around, and they come. Many of them will not do it for whatever reason. We never force anyone. Absolutely not. If there's any type of hesitation, we would say, rather let it go, or let's do it at a later stage. There's no forcing here. And if you feel uncomfortable on doing it, then we won't force you. But let's say you do want to do it, you will get an invitation. After you contacted me, you will get a short video, about 15 minutes, on what's expected and what's not expected, especially what we talk about and what we can't talk about. I'll get to that later as well. Then we do the recording. It's on Zoom. We record it via Zoom. This thing is being recorded as well, because I don't have a studio yet to do it in the normal way with the big cameras, which Rebecca supplied, by the way, not me. And so So we record and then afterwards we edit. Then we send that edited video to you and we say to you, listen, have a look at it. If there's something you want changed, let's change it. And tell us where your pictures must come in. And then we put the pictures in. You have a last view at it, and then when it's published on a certain date. And we will tell you, we'll give you the links. We'll ask you to spread the word around because we don't do the marketing. The nice thing about Legacy, it's set up at you yourself has to post it around on Facebook and wherever. And I will also ask all of you listening here, please, if you like the video, don't just like it and subscribe. Post the thing around. Copy and paste the link towards Facebook or whatever. And ask your friends to do it as well so that it can generate views. It's important. It's important for the search engines. And it's also important that more and more people learn about it, you know. That's basically how it works. Legally, the guy was actually the guest, was talking. The copyright belongs to him. So if he wants to take the video off, we'll take it off. It has never happened before. But if he wants a copy of the video, he's welcome to download the video. We'll give him the video. The only thing which we ask, and Fossey will be nodding his head when he's listening here, is we do not have the time to edit the video for you 10 times. It's edited once, then we put the pictures in, that is twice, and then it's done. I simply do not have time to spend hours and hours on a video. And if a guy forgot to say something, you know what, we'll have to make another video, but we can't just put it in somewhere in the video. It's too technical. It takes too much time. The only place where I've really done that was for Iheki, which we really took a lot of trouble with, but then that's Iheki. It's a very, very special episode. Normally, we will not do that simply because we can't. We don't have time. We really don't have time. As I said, there's 4 hours of work for every hour which you see here. So even this video has probably taken between all of us about 8 to 12 hours to produce for you. Then let's talk about language policy. I do get people sometimes who say to me they will not speak the Queen's English or the King's English these days. They speak Afrikaans and blah blah blah. Daar's geen probleem daarmee nie. As jy Afrikaans wil praat, jy's welkom om Afrikaans te praat. Die enigste rede hoekom ons oorgrote meerderheid van die video's in Engels is, omdat daar baie kinders is, jong mense nou wat nie meer Afrikaans kan praat of verstaan nie, en ons probeer ook vir die res van die wêreld inlig oor wat ons gedoen het en nie gedoen het nie. Dis maar wat Legacy is. Dis 'n inligtingssessie van mense wat, jy weet, gou 'n Google search gedoen het en verhoor het van apartheid Suid-Afrika en verder weet hy niks. Hy is so dom soos 'n slang en hy weet dit nie eers nie. Maar vir my is dit om te ewe, of jy Afrikaans praat of Engels praat, ek gee nie om nie. As jy Frans wil praat, ons kan dit ook doen. Maar mense, daar's niks teen Afrikaans nie, asseblief. Ek het 'n paar ooms vir my geskryf. Lelike briewe, hulle vir my sê wat 'n soort verraaier ek is. Okay, oom, jy het die reg tot daai opinie, maar jy is verkeerd. So ons los dit vir die gas om te besluit. Ek sit geen druk op ouens nie. En is 'n goeie ding, soos ons nou die dag gesien het met Daniel Botwoods en waar ouens gekla het oor die feit dat die vorige een was in Afrikaans, nie Daniel se nie, die ander een. Die naam het my nou ontbreek. Maar dis 'n goeie ding as mense sê hulle wil dit in Engels hoor want hulle verstaan nie Afrikaans nie. Dit beteken ons groot belangstelling, mense. Dis kom ons dit doen, maar as 'n ou nie goed voel om Afrikaans te praat en ek voel hy praat dit miskien 'n bietjie skeef of hy is nog steeds kwaad vir die boereoorlog of wat ook al, jy is welkom om dit in Afrikaans te doen as jy dit nie in Engels wil doen nie. Dis fine, dis geen probleem. Right, so let's talk about our new studio. As you people know, we're still behind the scenes here. That's what we're talking about. When we were in Lausanne, in Switzerland, I had access to a studio simply because Rebecca Schools had a studio there which we used for her program, online English program, which is out now. We've made more than 700 videos, would you believe, in the time of lockdowns. We used that very well. I wrote 2 books. And we did all the over 700 videos. So we were busy during lockdowns. And it worked very well. But now we're not in Switzerland anymore. And yes, I will make a video on telling you what I think of a swine in Switzerland. You will be shocked out of your mind. If you think they are not racist, well, think again. If you think they are good people, well, think again. If you think they have a lot of churches, yes, they do. But there's no one inside those churches. And certainly God's not inside their churches either. They even have a tax. If you're a Protestant, I think you pay 10% to the state. I refused. And if you are a Roman Catholic, then you pay 15% to the state in tax. Germany has that too. Interestingly, a lot of European countries. That's why Europe is the way it is. It's a not case and it's a lost case. And I will make a video about Switzerland. It's not going to go over well with the Swiss, I can guarantee you that. And I will also talk about their lack of neutrality. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really going to hammer them. But anyway, we're out of Switzerland now. And Rebecca and myself are now in Phuket. And in the Phuket, there's a hotel which belongs to Rebecca's father. He's the majority shareholder. Place has been closed because of many reasons, but COVID played a major role for the last 3 years. And so we came here to renovate it and to start it again with a vegan restaurant or two. It's quite a big place, 15 rooms, more a guest house. It's not a hotel, actually. It's registered as a guest house. But we will also have a studio there. And the job they offered me is to do all the social media marketing, make the same videos for the hotel as we renovated guest house, sorry. And of course, the vegan kitchen, things like that. So we've been here in Thailand now for 2 months. There is not a chance in hell that I will go back to Switzerland or Europe. I want nothing to do with that place. And if any Swiss dares to arrive here as a guest, he will only pay 5 times more than anybody else. But in fact, I don't want them here. I really don't want them here. So we're based in Phuket, and the problem is that it's 5 hours ahead of South Africa, which means if I record you, I can only record you in the morning, South African morning time, say between 8 and about 11. And after that, I can't, because then it's already nighttime here. And what is morning for me is between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning for you. Having said that, the internet here is extremely quick and very cheap. For about 400 rands a month, you can get 1 gigabyte upload and 1 gigabyte download. And that's not even quick in this country. It's quicker than that. It is fantastic. So it's a really good place to live. I really enjoy it here. I hope we will get our studio done in the next 2 weeks, and then I will show you what it looks like. So let us talk quickly about what we need here at Legacy, since this is a background type of video. I need people to become conversation hosts, in other words, something like Fossi and myself, where you need to be able to have an interview or a conversation with somebody. Remember, it's not about you, it's about him or her. Then you need to be able to edit that video on the formats which we will supply to you, and you need equipment to do that. You cannot edit a video on an 8 gigabyte computer. You can try. It will take you many hours of frustration and outright anger and annoyance. So if you don't have a computer with at least 16 gigs of RAM, preferably 32 gigs of RAM, with one of these solid-state hard drives, don't even try. Why? Because we sometimes speak to people here 2 hours, 3 hours, and that file is 5, 6, up to 10 gigabytes big, which means you need all the RAM and processing power which money can buy. It's an expensive game to do video editing. It's really not easy. So the other thing which we need is powerful computers. Now, luckily for me, I had a powerful computer. Rebecca gave me one for my birthday, 64 gigabytes of RAM. Sadly, within 6 months, I burned it out. I was doing the South African Railway Police Special Task Force member, Wayne Crocker. He came out last week. Wonderful fellow. If you haven't seen his video, please do it. We had a fantastic video which we recorded, and then I converted it, and the screen died on me and the computer died. And I sent it back to Germany. I was still in Switzerland then, Germany, but they have to replace it. They couldn't. They wasted my time for 6 weeks. And then the time came for us to leave Switzerland, so I just took the money which we paid for it, about $2,000. And guess what? You cannot buy that same machine for $2,000 now. It's going to cost at least $1,000 more. So the type of machines we're working on here is, in rand terms, at least 20,000 rands up to 60,000 rands. Otherwise, you can't do it. It's that simple. We also need microphones, which I'm going to set up now in the new one, because would you believe, about a week before we left Switzerland, my microphone also broke. In the beginning, we used all sorts of microphones, which we tried. We were still learning. A lot of people complained about sound. I can't really do much about it. I don't know your equipment. It really depends on you as well, not only me. But yeah, we're going to get decent microphones, and we'll set it up. We'll have a good, solid background again. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get myself one of these liquid-cooled desktop machines once I'm back from South Africa. So we always in need of powerful computers and software, things like that. It costs money. I mean, some people ask me, okay, Chris, why don't you put Afrikaans subtitles in, or English subtitles? Because I don't have time, first place. And secondly, because most people actually who can speak Afrikaans can actually understand English, but not vice versa. I get that. And also, the software to do is, it costs money. We simply don't have it. At the moment, I'm using Wondershare Filmora 12. That's a video editing program, a very good one. I got it for free from Rebecca. She bought it for school many years ago, and she paid for it, and she's still paying for it, as she's still paying for the Zoom. So whatever contributions you people can make, please do so. But we are now also looking for people to run ads on the videos. I fail to understand, to be honest, why people don't do it. If you think about it, we've got the market cornered here, and it's strange to me that we don't have advertising on the videos. We should have it. Now, yeah, a lot of you say to me, Chris, why don't you just enable the Google ads? Man, because they have no control. Because then they can put loose women on there or whatever, alcohol, things which I don't agree with. And I don't want that. And so I would rather have my own ads on it on behalf of viewers, which I know will work. So we're looking for advertising, and when I'm in South Africa now from the middle of January, there's quite a few business people I need to speak to about that. But if you know about somebody who wants to sponsor an episode, please contact me. It is important. Otherwise, at some stage, this is going to stop. At some stage, we will have to find, decent income, or we will have to say to you that unless you are a Patreon member, you will not be able to see all the videos. It's that simple. I mean, it's not. The money we're looking at is not even a cup of coffee in the Wimpy. To see a video which took many hours to produce and is part of our history. But I don't really want to go that route, because I don't want to limit this. It is, after all, a legacy of a nation, It's not for the elite few. So, still thinking about it, but the way I see it is advertising. Of course, if any of my books, as well as the GMJ books, are being sold or bought, then the money comes to legacy, and then it helps. But I can tell you that the legacy program, despite all the views and the hours watched, had no success whatsoever in getting the book sold. People just don't read anymore, so it's the way it is. Well, let's talk about negatives here. I've been giving you the good news and things like that. And let's look at the video where most people actually were banned. And you probably will not even remember this video. Sorry, there's a mosquito here running around, and these mosquitoes are bloody a nuisance in this place. But anyway, you see there in the back is my mosquito catcher. It's waiting for it, but unless it's dark, the mosquito will not go to the blue light, which will be the hint of him if he does. Yeah, the video where most people were banned, you wouldn't believe, came from Legacy Books. And it was done by Nicoline Valmalter. And she was speaking about the book she wrote about creation versus evolutionism. Now, this is a biblical thing, and she knows what she's talking about. She's got a master's degree in science. She teaches. The books were checked by several professors, including Walter Weiff, which of course caused the most problems, because it seems to me that Walter Weiff is either hated or is loved, but there's nothing in between. I myself actually do like Walter Weiff, and I watched all his videos, and I'm a great admirer of the man, because I am a Seventh-day Adventist, and so is Nicoline Valmalter, and Walter Weiff, of course, is a great Seventh-day Adventist. He went from being an atheist to a Roman Catholic, and then he saw the light. And I don't want to get into arguments with you people on doctrines. I don't care. But what I will say to you, it's a Bible and Bible alone for people like me. That's where the Sabbath comes from the creation. It's got nothing to do with the Jews. They came 600 years later. And definitely it's got nothing to do with the Sunday worship, which is a Roman Catholic doctrine, which I don't care for at all. At all. But what she said, Nicoline, was that God created the earth and everything on it in 7 days. Now, the evolutionist, people like Fauci, Dr. Fauci, the Jesuit, they will say that's nonsense. They will say there is no such thing. Even this Pope, the village idiot, as I call him, Francis, will tell you that there is no such thing as creation. That never happened. Everything came from a big bang. Which is also a Jesuit who actually came out of that crap. He can't tell you where the Big Bang comes from, but it's all relative. Anyway, so she talked about this book, she wrote about it, and people just went nuts. They went nuts. They started attacking Walter Weiff, who's not even in the video. He's invited to come onto the show for the simple reason that he did his national service. And I'm sure he will come at some stage, and I would love to speak to him. But they couldn't care about that. They just went on. They were just utter hatred. I've never seen such things in my life. And the more I said to them, but this is biblical. This comes out of the Bible. Go and read Genesis 1 verse 1. And then they just went on and on and on like you can't believe. Now, as far as I'm concerned, evolutionist, Darwinism, that's from Satan. It has no scientific fact, by the way. I wrote several books about it myself. So I actually know what I'm talking about. But that is a video which was banned the most. And people were banned the most from it. Let me tell you, I will do it again. If you start acting like like a beast of a Bible here with your comments and things, and you will not understand the reason that you cannot let something go, I will not hesitate in banning you. We have to remember here, those people who come on the show here, who is actually willing to share their stories to us, these people expose themselves to ridicule and all sorts of attack online. There's a lot of scumbags and trolls out there, and I get rid of them. I've got no hesitation. Let me say a few words about banning. I take no joy in it, but again, I will not hesitate. There was one guy, I don't know what happened to him, on Colonel Jan Malan, at a very good episode, Why the SADF Won the War. And a lot of people, of course, disagreed. And this guy started by saying, ek word nou sommer kwaad. Now, that's what he typed in there. That's what he typed. Ek wil vir iets sê, as jy dalk hierna kyk. As jy kwaad is, my vriend gaan skop 'n boom of doen iets, maar moenie op Legacy jou twak kom skryf nie. Jy weet, dit is uiters onnoosel om iets in woede te doen. En dit is nog meer onwissel om iets in woede te doen online en dit is verby ver onwissel om dit te doen by legacy. Want ek gaan nie jou kinderagtigheid verdra nie. Ek gaan vir jou onmiddellik verbaan. Now it is like that you can always come back under a different name. And that you're welcome to do that. I would welcome you back. But please, let us not spoil it for everybody just because you're getting angry. There was another fellow from Germany who started writing nonsense. I asked a question on Special Forces answers, where I asked these three Special Forces members, Jack Greef, Frans Fourie, and Doustein. I asked them, what CanCon pistol would you think is the best for home defense? That's a very, very relevant question in South Africa. But this German fellow, he had a long story, but it's totally not relevant. Then he admitted he actually has absolutely no experience in this. And thus he knows nothing, but still he has an opinion. You know what? I'll make a confession to you. I'm a professional man. I studied 5 years at university, became an attorney. Yeah, it didn't work out for me, but that doesn't matter. I still know a lot about the law, more than most people, and most certainly more than a guy who, did a Google search and now you want to argue with me because you think you're an expert because you read one damn article. You cannot go and argue to 3 Special Forces members, of which all 3 of them, by the way, also known as crooks. But now you want to come, you know nothing of South Africa, you know nothing of what's happening here. You admit you know nothing and yet you have an opinion. So that's just when I decided, man, if I get up in the morning, and I always get up in a good mood, I'm in a bad mood at night, not in the mornings. And I see this type of thing and I think to myself, you're just spoiling it for everyone. And what is worse is you betraying your own lack of common sense, your own lack of knowledge, and you don't even understand that you're doing it. Then you're better off banned. Then the other reason also is why somebody will get himself banned. If you attack the guest or legacy in any way, you're going to be banned. I will not tolerate it. One of the examples, General McGill Alexander, the paratrooper general, he wrote a PhD on Kasinga, a master's degree on it as well. A fantastic one. Really, if you haven't read it yet, you should go and read it. It's available online. And in it, he says quite a few things. He talks about the massacre of civilians at Kasinga. And in his last episode, he absolutely explains what he meant by that and what he said it and why he said it, and what he said was totally defensible. He never said these are people, these paratroopers are a bunch of murderers. He said things happened, and things did happen. You cannot deny it. And yet there was a few who went on. I remember one guy started by saying something like, "Yo, fuck, hoe kan jy so iets sê?" But he didn't even listen to what the general was saying. He just, what happened to hear the other side? The alterum rule. You cannot just jump the gun here, not on legacy. So I banned him. So that's what will happen. If you start attacking somebody here, you're not going to last on legacy. I guarantee you that. And then lastly, anything which has to do with porn, and that's how I see these days actually what videos are quite successful. Because within 10 minutes of them coming out, you have these porn guys. They put their porn links in it. Something like, find sexy girls at whatever. Man, I'm 55 years old. I don't want a girl, I have a woman. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you feel the same way. And you can't, by the way, anyway, post a link on Legacy in your answers or comments because it will automatically be flagged because of this type of thing. And if I don't agree with your link, I'm just going to remove it. But if it's like porn, you know what? Go and run your own social media thing somewhere to get people to your porn site. But don't involve Legacy. Don't involve me. We are good people. We follow the 10 commandments of God. I will not tolerate that type of thing here. And that brings me to the other point. What are we not allowed to speak about? You know, Freedom of speech does not exist. And I speak to you as a human rights lawyer. I'm telling you, freedom of speech is not unlimited. Hate speech, for instance, is limited. I mean, you can't go out and talk about, killing Jews or killing whatever you want to kill or whatever. We will not allow it. And frankly, it cannot be allowed. Anything racist, you know our background. And we also know that most of the units, many of the units were black, or mostly black. So the most successful ones, 3-1 Battalion, 101. And we're getting people from 101, by the way. They already recorded. Fossey just has to edit the video still. He's waiting for his new laptop. Peter Baxter, 101, he's there. We're talking to him. We did talk to him. I think of 3-1 Battalion, Bushmans, 3-2 Battalion. I've mentioned them before, Special Forces. And yes, I'm trying to get hold of the black soldiers as well. At this stage, I'm very reluctant to come on for obvious reasons, but we're working on that. We're aware of the fact that we want them here with us as well. Anything to do with war crimes. Now, things happen in war. I'm fully aware of it. But it's not to say that I want to hear it and we'll broadcast it. I'm not interested in it. Copyright infringements, we can't do anything which has to do with music, things like that, simply because YouTube will ban us. That's why Fossey with his top 20 cannot play music. But he's got an idea where to get past it, and you just have to listen to what he has to say. And then there are those who simply refuse to come on the channel. Like we couldn't get hold of Kufud members, even though people ask for them. You know what? Fine. They don't want to come. You don't have to come. No one is forced. But just remember something. In law and in life, if you don't deny something, it stands. Just remember that. People come and call you a bunch of murderers, but you don't deny that you're a murderer, and we know you're not a murderer. People are going to believe you're a murderer. Just remember that, guys. You'll have to come and speak to us and set the record straight. And then, of course, there's the normal things. We cannot afford to speak about COVID or lockdowns or vaccines or legacy. Now, in the first place, it's a military channel. We don't care. But even in our medical show with Dr. Eric Solomon, even that, it is very hard for us to even mention anything about COVID lockdowns, COVID itself and vaccines, because there's only one narrative which is accepted. And if you say anything which is not in that narrative, they ban you. They just ban you. And I speak to a lot of people across the world, and I can tell you that Kool-Aid has been swallowed by most of the people who live in the first world. But that's not my concern. That's not what legacy is about. All I'm saying is, that's why I don't even mention it. I can't do it. I think I made my views very clear that I think that both Donald Trump and this Anthony Fauci, both of them they are not openly Jesuits. They are definitely secret Jesuits. And if you want to know why that is a damn problem, go and read GMJ's book, Oath of Evil, The War on Protestantism. It is available in South Africa. You can get hold of it. Read that book before it is too late. You will understand what's happening in the world right now. Then lastly, I'm asked quite often, do I always agree with a guest? Man, no, I don't always agree with a guest. Sometimes I know he's wrong. I know he's wrong. Sometimes people say to me, the SAF is the second oldest air force in the world. Well, it's not. It's the second oldest Commonwealth air force in the world. Go and research it. And sometimes they say something which I know for a fact is, no, I've dealt with it or whatever. It doesn't matter. I have a different past than most people. But it's not about me. It's about him. And that's his views. And we respect his views and we will let him carry on. But no, I don't always agree with a guest. But it's a respectful thing. And guess what? With few exceptions, I become friends with everybody who's been on this show. Actually, I would like to say all of it. I've never had one coming back to me and say to me, Koos, so you know that word I used for Koos at school? Wat begin met 'n T, OOS, jy weet daai goed. Nee, we don't do that type of things. I treat people with respect. I expect all guests to be treated with respect here, and I expect the same back. So what didn't work? I think I've been talking more than an hour here. Well, it's past my lunchtime, but let me carry on. We're almost done now. What didn't work? Well, we tried a few things which didn't work. The legacy get-togethers, sadly, that sort of died with Mark Hume. Only one guy went out and made us a very good video where they got together and all the mates, and so the rest didn't. So I can't do it. The door is still open, but it didn't work until people like you listening here, when you're with your pals, when you're there in the mofs or when you're doing a parade and you don't do the videos for me, then I can't do it. I'm sorry. I just don't have journalists and people on the ground. I mean, you have to send me the videos. The other thing which I tried was legacy contact each other, where I was hoping that a guy could leave a message to meet Corporal whatever from 1975. That didn't work. No one did it. Only two guys, and I don't think anybody responded on them. Then we also have a thing called foreign guests, mostly for the Rhodesians. We had a few people coming, but far and in between. Mostly it's just lying there. But the door is still open, and if you were in a foreign army, please come and talk to me. You're welcome here. This is about the South African military and South African security forces, but you are welcome. I am talking to a Greek guy of their special forces. He'll come back to me soon, I hope. Then the other things which didn't work was mostly police and the non-fighting units. Their videos are really not popular. I don't know why, to be honest. I think they've got good stories, especially the railway police, especially the special task force members. It was a special forces unit, or let's call it a specialized unit if you want to argue whether they were or not. Fact is, they have fantastic stories, but almost nobody looked at it. Why? I wouldn't know. I understand the SAP more than the army. More individual type of people. They don't like publicity. But you know what, guys? You're welcome here. Please come and talk to us. Don't let the lies stand. I say again to you, if you don't tell us the truth, if you don't come and tell your side of the story, the enemy's side is going to stand. That is basic law. And for me, it is all about history. Then the Navy didn't arrive at all. We had one Navy man, a naval man, Admiral Angel Suderland. Fantastic man. He gave us a fantastic series. I'm very grateful to the Admiral. But I'm sad to say not a single other Navy man ever approached us. So, you know what, Navy guys, you're welcome here. Please come to us. We would like to hear about you. And then I think I mentioned this before, the book sales. Book sales are important because it is cash flow for me. Whatever is sold on the GMJ books, some people say I wrote it. I'm not denying it, not admitting it even. Nothing happened. There were no real book sales whatsoever. We even brought some of the books to South Africa. Seems to me people don't read anymore. You know what? That's fine. It just saddens me. It saddens me because it's really good books, and it will open a world for you which you didn't know exist. And I think a lot of things will be clear to you once you read these books. But I'm not going to force the issue anymore. The ads are still in the legacy videos. They will stay there, but it had no effect. Right. We were a bit negative now. I'm sorry about that. 99% of the feedback we get is actually positive. 99%. Most people do like the videos. We can see it from the quotes. I'm going to read you a few quotes here at the end. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to say where the quotes came from, on what video, but they are here. The one which is outstanding for me, he wrote here, he said, Chris, you have no idea what impact you have by our diaspora, and recording this history is extremely important. You had courageous, loyal warriors. You and John van Zyl, the Rhodesian War, have done justice to our rich history. Thank you for the healing effect it has on our generation and our predecessors' recognition. I'm not good at reading things, I must tell you. I rather speak out of my heart. The documentation of this era is so important for our future generations. I salute you and the men and women who's been part of this righteous journey. And this is from a humble Zimbabwean who grew up in the Rhodesian War and finished my years in South Africa. En hy sê, wen in Afrikaans, dankie baie, julle is op 'n ander vlak, julle boetjies, julle moet dit nooit vergeet nie. This fellow has exactly the right point here. He's 100% correct. And I'm humbled to say this, but you know what? Every time I speak to one of you, or Fossey speaks to one of you, or you record yourself, you have this gratefulness that you had a chance to speak and a chance to be listened to and a chance to tell your story. I think it's important. It's very important. So thank you to you who made this comment. Of course, John van Zyl there at Rhodesian Men, Fighting Men of Rhodesia. They got a fantastic channel there. I would recommend it to you anytime, but we're not in competition with them. They do their thing, we do our thing. The major difference, as I can see, is we do not tell people how long they can talk or not. They can talk as much as they want, and we tell them to never interrupt them. Because I feel this is a legacy. If you want to talk an hour, you're fine. If you want to talk 10 hours, man, you're fine. And I think the one who has talked the most was General McGill Alexander, and I can tell you it was also the most fantastic to listen to. There was not a boring moment. The man was just good. He would sit there behind his computer and just talk. And I would sit on the other side and I would make pages and pages of notes. And normally I didn't ask a few questions because he would have answered all my questions anyway. That was just fantastic. But talk about fantastic, here's another quote. Thanks for this fantastic series. Then there's another guy say, wow, what a wonderful conversation and journey. I really look forward to hear more from a general. Weer eens dankie Koos. I think that was on General McGill. Want to say here, guys, you don't have to thank me. I'm grateful when you do. Thank you. We're really grateful. You can thank Fossey as well when he's doing the interviews, giving hours and hours of his time. But it's not about us. Then there's another quote, another brilliant interview. These guys were soldiers. Yeah, they were. And then I love this chat. Awesome as always. I'm so pleased these stories are being told. Koos, your program is my gunsteling. Koos, an absolute honor to listen to these four Buffalo manne. That must have been the Kreerbroers. Dankie aan julle. Koos, jou programme is ongelooflik. Another classic legacy interview, an absolute gentleman soldier by all accounts. Frans must have enjoyed a lot of respect from his comrades and those under his command. Ja, daar's net een Frans voor u. Yeah, that's all I can say about him. Brilliant as per usual. Great chat, gents. Thank you for your service. You are men of men. Thank you for the interview. Enjoying the blend of actions and the stories and interpersonal antics, quirks and anecdotes. Great viewing. This guy's definitely more educated than me, you know. I can't even say those words. But then the best quote ever came from the one on Oliver Sabatino's video, the 3-2 Battalion guy. He's coming back, by the way. We're going to talk again about further stuff with him in January. And the best quote, according to this guy, was where Oliver said something like, I've drunk a drip. It's the cockest thing in the world. What a legendary quote. It is legendary. But unless you drank a drip, you wouldn't understand how bad that really tastes. Okay, so what do we think of the future now that we're back in the positive mode? I'm sorry I had to mention the negatives as well, but it's important, guys. You know, we carry actually a lot of burden here in the background. I don't know about Fossey, he must speak to himself, but for me, yes, it affects me. Sometimes I speak to Andre Olivier, sometimes I speak to other people, sometimes I hear things which make me quiet. Sometimes I feel the raw emotion. I think of Gareth Rutherford, the honours group soldier. Lots of emotion. Yeah, it affects me, but you know what? It's God's work. We will carry on. So what we're looking for in the future is, I want something which I call Legacy Campfire. That is where we talk with experts on recent events. Let me give you an example. Not long ago, the Nord Stream pipelines were blown up, sabotaged. By, well, we all know who did it. Can only be the second beast of the Bible. That's the US. It's lapdog the UK. It's sad what has become of the UK. And I wanted to know, how is such an operation planned and executed? And that is the type of thing I want to do with the campfire talks, where we don't talk about our past as so much, even though, of course, legacy is about our past and legacy, right? That is 99%. But I thought perhaps we can make a more relevant one to say, well, okay, Chris, if you want to do that type of sabotage, you need to do the following, blah, 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 blah. And I thought that would be very, very interesting. So just testing the waters here, whether you guys would be interested in such a type of talk. Won't be long, hour at the most, where we just talk to the experts and they can tell us what's happening. As far as we know, because we don't really know, but I think it is it is reasonably certain who was behind those attacks. The fact that they got away with it is really sad. Right. I also want to do this is in the future, in the next 2 years. I believe we're going to have Africa Legacy headquarters. By that I mean we're not going to stay in Thailand forever. We will be here for a few years, but at some stage, I believe Rebecca and myself will get like an abandoned fishing lodge or place where we can grow our own vegetables and fruit. You know, we're vegans. We don't eat any meat. We don't even drink coffee, to be honest. And of course, zero alcohol whatsoever. We're looking at getting a place like that where we can then run the legacy from there. And we will then be able to invite people over. We can record in our studios. We will be able to implement a Saturday 2.4 kilometer run. I think we can get Kevin Johnson to chase people around. He's still a fit man. Or whatever, but the point is we're going to get an Africa Legacy headquarters in the future, we hope. It's God's will. It will probably be funded by Rebecca. There's no way I can fund it. But that's the dream. And then Fossey is doing something special with his music. You know, he started the top 20 episodes. But we can't play the actual music because YouTube will ban us, will strike us with copyright issues, but he found a way around that. But he will announce it himself, so I'm not going to do it. Music is important. I am, as I said, a Seventh-day Adventist, so I'm against anything which I think comes from Satan. I don't want to go into that debate with you. It's my views. It's based upon research. I know what I'm talking about. But I also think that music is important, especially when you praise your Lord and your Creator. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank you for listening here. I want to thank you for spreading the word. I will remind you again, please guys, don't just subscribe. Post the links on your Facebook. Tell your friends about it. Get us people to comment, record. Get involved yourself. If you think you can do this, if you want to become a legacy presenter, man, you're welcome. Contact me. Let's see if we can reach each other. It's not a hard job. It's a fantastic opportunity. You meet people you would have never met in your life. There's a lot of respect between the presenters and the guys who's coming on the show. I've never had an issue with each other. I don't foresee having any type of issues. It's a positive environment. It is really just fantastic. But remember now, there's no money to pay you. I'm sorry, we just don't have it to pay you. We can't. One day, perhaps in the future, but now it's all voluntarily done. So thank you once again. I've been going on here for a while, so I'm stopping this now. I'm ending it. The other presenter, Fossey, will have a few words, perhaps Rebecca and Kevin as well. And then we will finish this with Andre Olivier saying a prayer for us. So once again, thank you and God bless. Ek weer kyk. Ek so bly ek het dit nie hierdie een nie. Ek het eintlik rondneekie so. Baie moeite maak vir sekere mense. Jy sê wat gebeur as jy volunteer? Ek het nou gedink het julle twee wat nou soveel jare in die Defence Force was, sal nooit volunteer nie. No? Ja, okay. Wel internet, ons is terug en as SW vir julle anders lyk, dit is omdat hy anders is, dis so 'n uur of 2 later. Julle weer die Eskom. Ja, die Eskom, wat kan ek sê van Eskom? Nee, dit het hoe gemaak het. Die hele legacies vir opnames is totaal rondgeneek. So SW is nou terug by sy eie plek. Dit lyk so 'n bietjie anders agterom, maar dis daarom nog steeds dieselfde mens. Nou Fossie is nog steeds daar in Ierland. En ons het oorheen gekom. Ek gaan so 'n paar vrae vra.
You're wondering what Koos is on about there? Well, I'm going to tell you what Koos is on about there. That was the day he chain ganged me into my first video appearance on Legacy Conversations. He had it in his mind that I could do the questioning of SW after I read SW's book, Sierra Whiskey, or like I fondly like to call SW, Zuidwester. It fits so perfectly, doesn't it? He mentions it in the book, and he mentions it in the videos that you can see, that he was nicknamed that by some. So I asked pretty permission, and I was granted. Well, maybe I wasn't granted. Anyway, long story short, that's where you see Koos going, hey, I've got to do this and that and that. Yes, because I was doing the edit. Because I had volunteered. So for me in itself, just being trusted enough to be part of the Legacy Conversations is a highlight, a massive highlight. Up to that point, I had already edited 1 or 2 movies, and I think I met with Koos's acceptance, and not only that, his standards. Now, I must say, it was fun and games. It's fun and games that I thought could not be had anymore. Now, the old story goes, sometimes you might get what you asked for. So beware what you ask for. So yes, I was looking for something to do from home to add value somewhere along the line. I had lots of job not lots of job offers, but the recruiters were starting to contact me again after the beer bug hiatus type of thing. And I kept on saying, I cannot work. I have to work from home. I have to work remotely, blah, 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 so many hours. So I got my wish. I'm working from home. I can fit Legacy Conversations activities in amongst all my other activities. If I feel the need to move away from an edit, I can move away and come back an hour or so later. There's reasons for that, but that's beside the point. The point is, here I am celebrating my highlights. Now, for me, as I said, the highlight, a joint highlight was the fact that SW had agreed that I could ask him questions. I have read his book up to this point. You can go back and go and look for that video. That was, as I say, my first appearance.
Kyk jy net gou gemeet Fossie sal die vir ons uitsny. Fossie, ek gaan so maak of weet jy ons moet uitsny. Okay, nou SW, syne ons nou hierso het jy baie mond gehoor het dat jy baie bly was om die lugmag te sien. Ek het gepraat met 'n paar vlugingenieurs, flight engineers. En op hulle oorlewingskursus waar ons nou weet jy was nou nie betrokke nie, maar van julle lede was. Sê hulle kon gevang gewees het en was gevang gewees. En dan sou die spesmagte ouens hulle rol in kondensmelk op die grond rond. En dan moet hulle verder.
So there's been many other highlights for me along the way. I do thank Koos and Rebecca and SW and Kevin in the distance for the friendship and the trust that they've placed in me. another highlight is this recording that I'm doing here is on the new laptop. But that's for a story for a different video. This recording is very, very special because I am using the Mean Mother, as I have nicknamed this new laptop. So there's another highlight. The highlights just keep on rolling in. I do believe from a series point of view, Legacy Conversations, there are so many SVS series. I enjoyed his Afrikaans one because it's his mother tongue and his humor sneaks through. Now, talking of his humor, the highlights in this particular video that I had to edit, and Koos was messing with me in the background, and it was fun because he was teaching me very, very quickly that I should shut up and not talk so much while I'm doing a recording, because editing is much easier when I shut my mouth. So I'm just going to play you that little clip, the highlight of that little clip. I really loved it when SVS said the following after I asked him about student life, and the talking about the braai. So there you go. You enjoy this.
Yeah, I had a couple of naughty things on varsity. I remember I was staying in a house for students. We were 2 guys staying there. And they said, well, you can't have a braai without female students. So I went to one of the hostels and I called one of the student ladies that was with me on a specific course, and I said, luister, ons het 'n braai, ek het wil jy nie 1 of 2 meisies saam nooi nie? And yes, you pitch with 4 of them plus us 5. And I remember we were driving a city golf and we propped tackle oral in. Now I had another challenge. We were only 2 guys and 4 or 5 girls. But of course, I was still a virgin then.
Sorry, jy het halfte van Angola opgeblaas, maar jy was nog 'n virgin. Baie mooi, hoor. Anyway, from a viewing point of view, single episode videos, there were 2 ladies that I particularly enjoyed the videos of. The 2 videos that I'm on about is Chantel Du Toit's video, such a positive, upbeat, and this is after cancer treatment. It simply just illuminates hope and life and love and all of these things. And then from a different point of view, I was blessed to be asked to do the HP Ferreira special video, 6-1 Mech fundraising for HP Ferreira. And Nikki Dixon, the pastoral therapist there, was asked her to tell us a bit more about what she does. And that was another very, very positive video. So much that folk are doing to help others. The veterans haven't been forgotten. But we thank you all, every single one of you, for telling your stories, sharing your stories, and putting us in the position to facilitate this for you guys and girls. So yes, highlights for me are plenty. My involvement with the 3-1 battalion guys. I'm still chasing 1 or 2 guys to get the interview. In the new year, there will be more videos. Other individuals I have had the pleasure of interviewing. I do not want to name names because then I'm going to have to rattle them all down here. But I've done more edits than what I've done interviews, or I hate to use the term interview, chats. I want to call them chats. So I am going to say once again, I do thank Koos and Rebecca for allowing me this massive privilege. What's flowed out of this too is that I've sort of, in a light-hearted way, dragged a bit of music to Legacy Conversations in the top 20 chats. But in the background now, I am doing podcasts too, music podcasts. They might not last long, they might not go down well, but I hope to put a spin on it, because ultimately the music from that era, the Bush War era, there are songs with a veteran years, and it just sets him off on a different path. So yeah, there's so many positives for me as the individual sitting here waffling, talking to you guys. So I say thank you once again. Thank you so much for the privilege, the great privilege of me sharing in your stories, me having the privilege to facilitate you sharing your stories. Koos and Rebecca, and everybody at Legacy Conversations, everybody that's sharing their stories, may you have a tremendous holiday season. May Christmas mean what Christmas should mean to you. So once again, I do thank you, and that's enough from me. Thanking you and helping you guys, helping me give something back to the community. There we go. Thank you. And may your 2023 be a massive year. Stay free. And as we always say here at Legacy Conversations, until we meet again, or till we chat again, God bless.
Good day, Internet. My name is Duval Merton, and I'm part of the Legacy team. I just want to say thank you for the support that you guys are giving us in the Legacy page. I administrate the Facebook page, and I do assist Koos and our sponsor MGJ with the books in South Africa and distributing his books. So yeah, what is Legacy? Let's first start, what is Legacy not? Legacy is definitely not a political orientated platform. It is also not a recruitment site for the military police or the military or the police, as a request I got on Facebook. So yeah, Legacy was a dream that Koos had, to start a platform whereby people can talk about South African military history, and started from there. I was part almost from the beginning, and from there it grew. And it's definitely also not a money-making platform. A lot of the sponsorship comes from the GMJ and Koos himself, that is costing them money. And so yeah, what makes Legacy special and unique is it's not just a story platform. It is there to assist members, or not members, people from the public, from both sides. Koos got speakers that make videos to help people start their own business, help them with PSD and normal life. So guys, thank you for supporting us. That's me out. Wonderful year for you further, and thanks for the support.
Good day. Can you believe it? This message is the last one for the year 2022. Time has gone by so fast, and age sets in and grey hair sets in. But the highlights of the year that went past, people sharing their legacies on Legacy Conversations. What a blessing. What an edification it was to hear about different operations, to hear about different units, the highlights, the lowlights. Some people we've lost, gone on to be with the Lord. It's just been a fantastic year. And I want to say thank you to each and every person that contributed to Legacy Conversations in one way or the other. I thank you to every unit, Special Forces 3-2, the South African Police, South African Railway Police, to everybody that contributed, men and women. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we go into this time of reflection, I know that Koish is going to give us a highlight of the different views and who saw what was his highlights, what was his lowlights. And yes, I think a lot of people have benefited just by talking, just by sharing their stories. And that's one way of also dealing with the past. But you know what? This is a time of family, a time of reflecting on the last year and reflecting on our lives and saying, what are we going to do in the year ahead? How can we contribute in the years ahead as well? So I want to just, out of the bottom of my heart, say thank you for every person that I've had the opportunity to speak with, to meet. I'm thinking of General Borman, who I met through Legacy Conversations, and people that I could pray for, people that I could counsel. Thank you for that opportunity. And I'm here for you in the year 2022 as well. But spend this time wisely with your family. The days go by so fast. So spend time with those that you love. And let's think of what we're going to do in the new year, how we're going to make a difference. Can we close in prayer? Father God, as we come to the end of 2022, we want to thank you, Father, for keeping us, for protecting us, Lord, and also for providing us, Lord. As we think, Lord, how you have maintained us through the years, Father God, through dangerous times, Father, through people that died next to us and in front of us, Lord, and you just kept us, Lord, for a time such as this. And I know, Lord, that there's a reason for that, and that reason, Lord, amongst others, is to share our stories, Lord, to leave our stories there, to build up and to edify other people. Lord, give us a time of peace and tranquility with our families, and also for the year 2023. And I just speak a blessing, Lord, on every person listening to this message for 2023. And I want to declare, Lord, in terms of your word, the best is yet to come. No matter in what position we are, whether we are in the fiery furnace or in the lion's den right now, the sun will come up again tomorrow. So I speak a blessing, I expect a blessing in the precious name of Jesus. Stay blessed, and we'll talk again in 2023. Bye-bye for now.